Hey guys, it's Pam with Britland Services again. And today we're going to talk about how to effectively mop a tile or concrete floor. You know, traditionally we would use things like a mop bucket, right? And put a little bit of our neutral mop solution in there. And then we might use a mop like this that would need to be dipped in here multiple times. You would dip this back in here, you'd wring it out, you'd mop some area of the floor, you'd dip it again in the dirty water, which has now become dirty. That second time you touch it, and then wring it out and mop another section of the floor, right? That's traditionally what we did. But let me pose an interesting thought process for you. So I know that Swiffers have come about, and many people have gone to that, which I'm not a fan of the actual Swiffer brand, I have to tell you. The product tends to be a little bit sticky, leaves a film, and it's just not as good as maybe, I mean, the idea was great, but it's not the best way to mop a floor. So here's what we do now in the professional house cleaning industry. We take our mop bucket, or if you only have a kitchen to do or a small space, you could even use your clean kitchen sink or bathroom sink for this. And what you're going to do is put a little bit of your neutral, and you're going to measure it. So a little bit of your neutral floor cleaner into the water, and it needs to be cold water, because if you use hot water, the cleaning agents are just going to evaporate, and you can't get it hot enough to actually be boiling and sanitize the floors that way anyway. Let your cleaner be your sanitizer, okay? So you're going to measure that into your cool water based on what's on the packaging. We do use a commercial mop solution, but you can use anything, again, that's got a neutral pH balance. Then what we're going to do is take one of these. Now, traditionally, you've thought of these as hardwood floor mop pads, right? Well, let me show you what the secret is to getting a good, well-mopped floor, even though you might have tile or concrete or some other hard surface flooring, okay? What if I dip this pad, or even soak this pad, a pad or two, got a couple of them here, and I just drop those into my mop bucket, okay? So they're in here with my mop solution, and they're soaking. I want them wet enough so that they can get into the grout lines. In this house, you can tell that at some point, maybe if I get on the other side, at some point you can tell probably that somebody used this mop on it, and when they did, they used that dirty water and slushed that around, and it got into the grout lines, right? And it really dirtied them over time. That plus just normal wear and tear. So what we're going to do so that we don't make that mistake and get those grout lines dirty again is we're going to use our clean mop water. I'm going to get a pad out and wring it out. I'm going to drop this pad at the far side of the room. Okay, so what I just did was used a clean mop pad. I never double dipped it. If the floor is super dirty, I would look at this pad and go, okay, it's time to change it now. And I would not re-dip this. I would put this in my dirty towel bag. I would pull a new pad out. I'm gonna wring it out, do the same thing, pick up where I left off, pad on the floor, stick the mop on because it's got Velcro. And notice that I'm using like a figure 8 or S pattern to mop. Okay. If I need to scrub, if I've got a stubborn spot, I'll pull out either my plastic spatula that I normally have in my apron pocket if I had my apron on, or I would pull out my razor blade and get that gum or that goop up with that razor blade. Once it gets wet, it comes up a whole lot easier. But sometimes we do need to do that to make an extra clean floor. So I'm using the figure 8 pattern so that if the vacuum did leave any debris behind, because I do want to vacuum first, if it left any debris behind, by using that figure 8 pattern and pulling any dust or dirt that I might find under the stove or under the cabinet or something the vacuum missed with me. And then at the very end of the room, I can pick that up either with a microfiber cloth like this. That works good, or a dustpan, whatever you've got. So that's the secret to getting good, clean tile and or concrete floors, is never double dip. Your water never gets dirty. And in doing so, you're going to get a much better result. The other thing I could do, if I've got a shiny floor finish, I can take a dry pad, just like these that were wet, the same pad, just a dry one, and I go back over that surface just to make sure no water spots were left behind. So if you do have hard water, you may need to go back over that area and dry it with a dry pad. Or like I said, if it's got a shiny floor finish, if it's a ceramic tile with a shiny finish like some bathrooms have, then you would need to go ahead and go back over the same floor with a dry pad. So it takes a little bit longer, but the results are going to be phenomenal. Never double dip, never have dirty mop water, and you will love the results. Thanks so much for tuning in, and see you next time.